Before the expanse of time unfurled its vast tapestry, before the first whisper of an atom stirred in the boundless void, there was only the unsearchable mystery of the divine. An eternal, self-existent majesty, dwelling in a light inaccessible, contemplated the emptiness that stretched infinitely before him. From the profound depths of his being, a holy intention blossomed, a deliberate and sublime will to manifest glory, beauty, and life where none had ever been. The silence of eternity was poised, pregnant with the unspoken, awaiting the command that would shatter the primordial nothingness. Then, from the very essence of the Creator, the word, vibrant with power and purpose, resonated through the infinite expanse. "Let there be light!" And with an instantaneous cosmic eruption, light, pure and unblemished, burst forth, tearing through the suffocating darkness. It was not the gentle dawn of a sun yet to be formed, but an incandescent, self-luminous radiance, the very first manifestation of divine energy. The newly born light danced and shimmered, revealing the raw, unformed chaos, a swirling, formless deep. The Spirit of God, a palpable living presence, hovered with intentional grace over the face of these turbulent waters, preparing them for the intricate order that was about to be woven. The Creator looked upon this nascent light, a testament to his own glorious nature, and declared it good, a perfect beginning to his grand design. He separated the light from the darkness, establishing the rhythmic cadence of day and night, marking the first epoch of existence. Again, the divine decree echoed, shaping the formless into structure. "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." With an unimaginable force, yet with exquisite precision, an immense, transparent expanse unfurled, stretching like a vast, crystalline dome above the waters. This firmament, a majestic vault of sky, held the upper waters aloft, separating them from the waters below, creating a breathable atmosphere, a canvas of azure that would one day cradle clouds and stars. The Creator gazed upon this magnificent separation, a testament to his architectural genius, and pronounced it good, naming the firmament heaven. The second day concluded, leaving behind a world of nascent potential, awaiting further adornment. The third command brought forth the solid ground from the watery expanse. "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." With a mighty, unseen hand, the vast oceans receded, their tumultuous waves settling into their appointed basins, revealing the rugged contours of continents and islands. The earth, once submerged, rose majestically, its surface still damp and glistening. Then, with breathtaking speed, the Creator adorned this newly revealed land. "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind, on the earth." Instantly, from the fertile soil, an explosion of life erupted. Verdant grasses carpeted the plains, their blades shimmering with dew. Towering trees, heavy with blossoms and ripe fruit, stretched their branches towards the heavens, their leaves rustling with an unheard melody. Delicate flowers, painted in every conceivable hue, unfurled their petals, releasing intoxicating fragrances into the pristine air. The earth became a vibrant tapestry of life, teeming with self-sustaining flora, a testament to the Creator's boundless generosity and artistry. He saw the intricate beauty, the perfect functionality, and declared it good. On the fourth day, the celestial luminaries were hung in the vast firmament. "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth." With a word, two great lights blazed into existence. The greater light, the sun, a fiery orb of golden brilliance to govern the day, And the lesser light, the moon, a pearl of silver luminescence to preside over the night, casting its gentle glow upon the sleeping world. Alongside them, countless stars like scattered diamonds ignited across the dark velvet of the night sky, each one a distant beacon, a silent witness to the Creator's infinite power. These celestial bodies, set in their perfect orbits, began their eternal dance, marking the passage of time, guiding the rhythms of life below. The Creator beheld their majestic order, their radiant splendor, and declared them good. The waters and the skies, now prepared, received their inhabitants on the fifth day. Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth, across the expanse of the heavens. From the depths of the newly formed seas, an astonishing array of life emerged. Colossal sea monsters, their forms graceful and powerful, glided through the azure waters. Schools of fish, shimmering with iridescent scales, darted and swirled in vibrant patterns, and countless other aquatic beings, each uniquely designed, filled the oceans with bustling activity. Simultaneously, the skies above became alive with the beating of wings. Birds of every feather, from the smallest hummingbirds to the mightiest eagles, soared and swooped, their calls echoing through the fresh air, their plumage a kaleidoscope of colors against the blue firmament. The Creator blessed them, commanding them to be fruitful and multiply, to fill the waters and the skies, and he saw the joyous proliferation of life, the intricate beauty of their forms and movements, and declared it good. Finally, on the sixth day, the earth itself was commanded to bring forth living creatures. Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And so it was. From the fertile ground, a magnificent menagerie of land animals sprang forth. Majestic lions, swift gazelles, lumbering elephants, and countless other beasts, each perfectly adapted to its environment, began to roam the plains, forests, and mountains. Creeping things, small and intricate, moved through the undergrowth, and livestock grazed peacefully on the verdant pastures. The earth pulsed with the vibrant energy of animal life, a symphony of movement and sound. The Creator surveyed this breathtaking diversity, this intricate web of life, and declared it good. But the pinnacle of creation, the very purpose for which all else had been made, was yet to come. The Creator, in a profound act of self-revelation, declared, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." Then, with infinite care and deliberate intention, the Creator stooped to the dust of the ground. From the very earth, he molded the form of a man, shaping the intricate contours of his body, each sinew and bone, each organ and vessel, with divine artistry. The man lay still, a perfect vessel awaiting the spark of life. Then the Creator bent low and breathed into his nostrils the very breath of life, a sacred infusion of spirit. And the man, Adam, stirred, his eyes opening for the first time to the wondrous world around him. He drew his first breath, a gasp of pure existence, and felt the warmth of life coursing through his veins, the beat of his heart echoing the rhythm of creation. He was a living soul, bearing the divine image, endowed with reason, emotion, and free will, a steward of the magnificent world. The Creator looked upon Adam, his masterpiece, and saw that he was very good. A special garden, a sanctuary of unparalleled beauty, was prepared for Adam in Eden to the east. It was a place of pristine serenity, where every tree was pleasant to the sight and good for food. Rivers, clear as crystal, flowed through its heart, nurturing the vibrant flora. The air was perpetually fresh, carrying the sweet perfume of countless blossoms and ripening fruits. The colors were impossibly vivid, the greens of the foliage deepened by the constant moisture, the reds and golds of the fruits glowing with an inner light. The harmony of sounds was exquisite. The gentle rustle of leaves, the melodic chirping of birds, the soft murmur of the flowing waters, all blending into a symphony of peace. In the midst of this paradise stood two trees of profound significance: the tree of life, offering eternal vitality, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a testament to Adam's freedom and responsibility. The Creator placed Adam in this garden, instructing him to work it and keep it, and gave him one singular command: "You may surely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Adam, in his innocent understanding, felt the weight of this instruction, a clear boundary set by the loving hand of his Maker. Adam walked through the garden, his senses overwhelmed by the sheer beauty and abundance. He felt a profound connection to the earth from which he had been formed, a sense of belonging in this perfect world. Yet amidst the splendor, a subtle solitude began to stir within his heart. He communed with the Creator, feeling his tangible presence, hearing his voice in the cool of the day, a communion of perfect trust and understanding. He was given the task of naming all the animals, and as each creature, from the smallest insect to the largest beast, passed before him, Adam observed their unique forms, their distinct characteristics, and bestowed upon them names that captured their essence. He saw them in pairs, male and female, each with a companion, and a quiet longing began to form within him, a yearning for a kindred spirit, a counterpart to his own being. The Creator, discerning this unspoken need, declared, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." A deep sleep, a profound and peaceful slumber fell upon Adam. As he rested, oblivious to the divine work, the Creator carefully took one of his ribs, closing up the flesh in its place. From this very essence of Adam, from bone and flesh, the Creator fashioned a woman. When Adam awoke, his eyes fell upon her, and a surge of recognition, of profound joy and completion, swept through him. "This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." Her presence filled the void he had unknowingly felt, her beauty a reflection of divine artistry, her spirit a perfect complement to his own. They stood together, Adam and Eve, in their pristine innocence, completely unashamed of their nakedness, for their hearts were pure, their minds unclouded by sin, their communion with each other and with their Creator utterly perfect. Their days were spent in joyful exploration, in harmonious labor, and in the blessed presence of God, who walked among them in the cool of the evening, a tangible manifestation of love and fellowship. The jubilation of original perfection permeated every fiber of their existence, but into this idyllic perfection a subtle shadow began to creep. The serpent, more crafty than any other beast of the field, slithered through the vibrant foliage, its scales shimmering with an insidious allure. It approached Eve, its gaze fixed, its whispers smooth and beguiling. Did God actually say, "You shall not eat of any tree in the garden"? The question, seemingly innocent, was a subtle insinuation, planting the first seed of doubt in Eve's pure heart. It challenged the Creator's benevolence, implying a restriction where there was boundless generosity. Eve, in her innocence, responded, recounting the Creator's clear command and the dire warning of death. But the serpent, with cunning precision, pressed its advantage. "You will not surely die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." The words hung in the air, a tempting promise, a seductive lie. They appealed to a nascent desire for knowledge, for a higher state of being, subtly undermining the Creator's trustworthiness. Eve's gaze lingered on the forbidden tree. The fruit, once merely a boundary, now appeared different, imbued with a new, captivating significance. She saw that the tree was good for food, its form appealing, its color vibrant, promising a delightful taste. She perceived that it was a delight to the eyes, its very presence radiating an irresistible allure. And most powerfully, she felt the pull of its promise, a tree to be desired to make one wise. The serpent's words echoed in her mind, painting a picture of elevated understanding, a state of being akin to the divine. A profound internal struggle began, a battle between the clear command of her creator and the seductive whispers of temptation. The weight of her choice, though not yet fully understood, pressed upon her. The desire for wisdom, for knowledge beyond her innocent comprehension, overshadowed the simple trust she had once held. Her hand, trembling slightly, reached out. Her fingers closed around the smooth, cool skin of the fruit. With a decisive yet agonizing motion, she plucked it from the branch. She lifted it to her lips, the scent, once innocuous, now intoxicating. She bit into the forbidden flesh, the taste a burst of unexpected flavor, a fleeting moment of perceived triumph. Then she turned to Adam, who stood nearby, a silent witness to her act. The purity of their communion, once unblemished, now held a new, unsettling tension. She offered him the fruit, her eyes reflecting a mixture of newfound awareness and subtle apprehension. Adam, faced with the stark reality of her transgression and perhaps swayed by his deep affection for her, chose to partake. He too ate. In that singular shared act of disobedience, the world shifted. Immediately their eyes were opened, not to divine wisdom as promised, but to a crushing, agonizing perception of their own nakedness. It was not merely a physical realization, but a profound spiritual exposure, a sudden, overwhelming shame that pierced their very souls. The innocence that had clothed them like a radiant garment was stripped away, replaced by a searing awareness of their vulnerability, their brokenness. A wave of fear, cold and paralyzing, washed over them, a dread of separation from the perfect presence of their Creator. They heard the sound of the Creator walking in the garden in the cool of the day, his familiar footsteps, once a source of comfort and joy, now echoing with impending judgment. Overwhelmed by their guilt, they instinctively sought refuge, hiding themselves among the dense trees of the garden, desperately attempting to conceal their newfound shame from the all-seeing eyes of God. The Creator's voice, once a melody of love, now carried a profound sorrow as he called out, "Adam, where are you?" It was not a question born of ignorance, but a lament, an invitation to confession. Adam, trembling, emerged from his hiding place, his voice laced with terror. "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself." The Creator, with a heavy heart, pressed him, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you not to eat?" The moment of truth had arrived, but instead of contrite confession, Adam, in his fear, shifted the blame. "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate." Eve, in turn, pointed to the serpent. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." The Creator, in his righteous judgment, pronounced the consequences of their disobedience. The serpent was cursed above all livestock, condemned to crawl on its belly and eat dust, its head destined to be crushed. To the woman, he declared increased pain in childbearing and a longing for her husband who would rule over her. To Adam, the ground itself was cursed because of him, destined to yield thorns and thistles, requiring arduous toil and sweat to produce food, until he returned to the dust from which he was taken. The perfect communion was shattered, the pristine garden now a place of sorrow, yet even in judgment, the Creator's mercy shone through. He clothed them with garments of animal skins, a foreshadowing of the covering that would one day be provided through sacrifice. Then, with an aching heart, he drove them out of the Garden of Eden, placing cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the way to the tree of life, preventing them from living eternally in their fallen state. The gates of paradise closed behind them, and they stepped into a world forever changed, a world of toil, pain, and the bitter taste of separation. The profound grief of God, witnessing the defilement of his perfect creation and the rebellion of his beloved children, was immeasurable. Outside the garden, Adam and Eve began their new life, marked by labor and the memory of what was lost. Eve conceived and bore a son, Cain, declaring, "I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord." Later she bore another son, Abel. Cain became a worker of the ground, his hands calloused from tilling the cursed earth, his brow often furrowed with the effort of coaxing sustenance from the stubborn soil. Abel became a keeper of sheep, his days spent in the quiet pastures, tending to his flocks. In the course of time, both brothers brought offerings to the Creator. Cain presented an offering of the fruit of the ground, a portion of his harvest. Abel, with a heart of faith, brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat portions, a costly sacrifice. The Creator looked with favor upon Abel and his offering, a divine acceptance that resonated with Abel's sincere devotion. But upon Cain and his offering, he did not look with favor. A dark cloud of resentment, a corrosive envy began to fester in Cain's heart. His countenance fell, his face contorted with a bitter anger that smoldered beneath the surface. He felt the sting of rejection, the perceived injustice, and his thoughts turned inward, consumed by a brooding resentment against his brother, whose offering had been accepted. The Creator, discerning the turmoil within Cain, spoke to him with a voice of gentle warning, yet firm authority. "Why are you angry, and why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it." The warning was clear, a profound insight into the insidious nature of sin, personified as a lurking predator, ready to ensnare him. Cain felt the weight of these words, the truth of the divine counsel, yet the corrosive envy had already taken root too deeply. He wrestled with the dark impulses, the gnawing bitterness, but the allure of his anger, the satisfaction of his wounded pride, proved stronger than the call to righteousness. He ignored the divine admonition, allowing the sin to tighten its grip, to whisper its destructive intentions. One day, Cain spoke to his brother Abel, his voice perhaps deceptively calm, masking the tempest raging within his soul. "Let us go out to the field." Abel, unsuspecting, followed his older brother into the open expanse of the land. The sun beat down upon them, the dust of the earth rising with their footsteps. The air was still, heavy with an unspoken tension. There, in the desolate field, far from the eyes of their parents, the simmering rage within Cain finally erupted. With a sudden, brutal act, fueled by his unchecked envy and the sin he had allowed to master him, Cain attacked his brother. The violence was swift, merciless. Abel fell to the ground, his lifeblood staining the parched earth, crying out silently to the heavens. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by Cain's ragged breaths and the frantic beat of his own heart. The enormity of his act, the irreversible tragedy, settled upon him with a chilling weight. Again, the Creator's voice, imbued with sorrow and righteous indignation, pierced the silence. "Where is Abel, your brother?" Cain, defiant even in his guilt, responded with a chilling retort. "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" His words were a desperate attempt to evade responsibility, a hardening of his heart against the truth. But the Creator, whose knowledge is infinite, pressed further. "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground." The earth itself, defiled by the first act of fratricide, bore witness to the heinous crime. For his unforgivable act, Cain was cursed. "And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth." The weight of the curse, the condemnation of his soul, settled upon Cain. He cried out, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today from the face of the earth, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." In his mercy, the Creator placed a mark on Cain, a sign of protection, so that no one finding him would strike him down. Cain departed from the presence of the Creator, a solitary figure, forever marked by his sin, condemned to wander the earth, carrying the burden of his brother's blood and the chilling echo of his own envy. As generations multiplied, the shadow of sin deepened across the face of the earth. The wickedness of man became pervasive, a festering wound upon creation. The hearts of humanity grew increasingly corrupt, their thoughts and intentions perpetually inclined toward evil. Violence, once an isolated act, became rampant, a defining characteristic of human interaction. The sacred bonds of family and community dissolved into a chaotic struggle for power and gratification. The earth, once a testament to divine perfection, groaned under the weight of human depravity. The Creator looked down upon the world he had so lovingly fashioned, and his heart was pierced with profound grief. He saw the utter corruption, the pervasive evil that had consumed humanity, and a deep sorrow, almost a lament, settled upon him. It grieved him to his heart that he had made man on the earth. The holy intention that had sparked creation was now met with utter rebellion and ruin. In his righteous anger, yet mingled with an agonizing sorrow, the Creator declared, "I will blot out man, whom I have created from the face of the land, man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them." The cosmic justice, long withheld, was now poised to descend. Yet, amidst the swirling darkness of human depravity, a single beacon of righteousness shone forth. Noah, a man of unwavering faith, walked with God. He was righteous in his generation, blameless in his conduct, his integrity a stark contrast to the surrounding corruption. His heart remained pure, his spirit unyielding in its devotion to the Creator, even as the world around him sank deeper into sin. He felt the oppressive atmosphere of pervasive evil, the constant pressure of a society that scoffed at righteousness, yet his resolve never wavered. To this solitary man, the Creator revealed his devastating plan. "I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and out with pitch." The command was colossal, an immense undertaking that would require decades of unwavering labor and an unshakable trust in the unseen. The Creator provided precise, intricate instructions: the dimensions of the vessel, the number of decks, the placement of the door and window. Noah listened, his heart heavy with the weight of the impending judgment, yet his faith remained steadfast. He understood the gravity of the task, the sheer scale of the construction, the logistical challenges of gathering materials and preparing for a global catastrophe. Noah began to build, a solitary figure against a backdrop of a mocking world. The rhythmic thud of his hammer, the rasp of saws cutting through gopher wood, the pungent smell of pitch became the soundtrack of his unwavering obedience. Day after day, year after year, he labored, his muscles aching, his hands calloused, his brow often slick with sweat under the relentless sun. The people around him, steeped in their revelry and wickedness, observed his monumental endeavor with incredulity and scorn. They pointed fingers, whispered derisive remarks, and openly mocked his seemingly absurd project. A boat on dry land? For a flood? What madness possesses this old man? They laughed at his warnings, scoffed at the notion of divine judgment, their hearts hardened by their own sin. Noah endured their ridicule, the constant barrage of disbelief, the isolation of his faith. He felt the immense burden of his solitary obedience, the weight of a task that seemed impossible to human eyes. Yet his conviction in the Creator's word never faltered. He continued to build, driven by an inner certainty that transcended the visible world, a testament to his profound trust in the God who had spoken. Finally, after decades of arduous labor, the colossal ark stood complete, a massive wooden vessel towering over the landscape, a silent monument to faith and obedience. The Creator then commanded Noah to gather the animals, 2 of every kind, male and female, and 7 pairs of every clean animal and bird, to preserve life on the earth. Noah, with his family, watched in awe as the creatures, guided by an unseen hand, began to approach the ark, moving in orderly procession, their instincts overriding their natural fears. The air filled with the rustling of fur, the flapping of wings, the low murmurs and calls of countless species. Then the Creator spoke to Noah. "Go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. For in 7 days I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground." The finality of the command, the imminence of the judgment, settled upon Noah's heart. He and his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives, entered the ark, the massive door closing behind them, sealed by the Creator himself. 7 days passed, days of an eerie calm, a final agonizing wait. The world outside continued its revelry, oblivious to the cosmic justice poised to strike. The sun rose and set, the skies remained clear, and the scoffers continued their mockery, their laughter echoing through the silent air. Then, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, the very foundations of the earth seemed to tremble. The atmosphere grew heavy, oppressive, charged with an unseen power. The heavens, once a serene expanse, darkened ominously, a vast, unbroken canopy of bruised purple and angry black. And then, with a terrifying, deafening roar, the floodgates of the sky burst open. Not merely rain, but immense torrents of water, as if vast celestial reservoirs had been unleashed, plummeted to the earth with unimaginable force. Simultaneously, from the very depths of the great abyss, the fountains of the deep erupted. The earth itself seemed to tear apart, geysers of water, hot and violent, spewing forth from subterranean chasms, mingling with the deluge from above. The ground quaked, mountains crumbled, and valleys were swallowed. The sound was deafening, a cosmic symphony of destruction. The thunderous crash of water, the earth-shattering roar of the deep, the terrified cries of humanity and beast, all swallowed by the overwhelming din. The waters rose with terrifying speed, an unstoppable, relentless tide. Houses were engulfed, trees uprooted, entire landscapes obliterated. The scoffers, their laughter turned to screams of terror, desperately sought higher ground, climbing to the highest peaks, but the waters pursued them, a relentless, consuming force. All life that breathed on the dry land, every creature, every human being, perished in the terrifying immensity of the waters. The ark, a solitary vessel of hope, was lifted from the ground, tossed and buffeted by the colossal waves, yet held firm by divine power. Inside, Noah and his family, amidst the terrifying sounds and violent rocking, clung to their faith, their hearts heavy with sorrow for the lost world, yet filled with a profound trust in the Creator's promise. For 40 days and 40 nights, the deluge continued, a relentless manifestation of divine justice. The entire earth was covered, the highest mountains submerged beneath the churning, dark waters. The world became a vast, terrifying ocean, a desolate expanse of grey, turbulent water under a perpetually storm-laden sky. Then, as suddenly as it began, the rain ceased. The fountains of the deep were closed, the floodgates of the heavens shut. A profound, chilling silence descended upon the waterlogged world, broken only by the mournful lapping of waves against the ark. The waters remained for 150 days, a vast, silent testament to the Creator's judgment. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the waters began to recede. A wind sent by the Creator swept across the surface, aiding the evaporation. The ark, which had drifted aimlessly, came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, its keel scraping against the newly exposed rock. After many more days, the tops of the mountains became visible, stark and desolate against the clearing sky. Noah, longing for a sign of new life, sent out a raven, which flew to and fro until the waters had dried up. Then he sent out a dove, which found no place to rest its foot and returned to the ark. 7 days later, he sent the dove out again, and it returned in the evening with a freshly plucked olive leaf in its beak, a tender green promise of life renewed. Noah's heart swelled with hope, a fragile bloom in the desolate world. After another 7 days, he sent the dove out one last time, and it did not return, a clear sign that the earth was finally dry. At last, the Creator commanded Noah and his family, along with all the animals, to emerge from the ark. They stepped onto the newly cleansed earth, the ground firm beneath their feet, the air fresh and clean, carrying the scent of damp earth and nascent life. The silence was profound, a stark contrast to the cacophony of the flood, yet it was a silence pregnant with the promise of a new beginning. Noah, filled with overwhelming gratitude and reverence, immediately built an altar to the Creator. He took some of every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar, a fragrant aroma ascending to the heavens, an act of profound thanksgiving and worship. The Creator smelled the pleasing aroma, and in his heart, he made a solemn pact. He declared, "I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease." This was a covenant of enduring grace, a promise to uphold the natural order of the world, despite humanity's inherent fallenness. Then, the Creator established a visible, eternal sign of this covenant. "I establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. It is an everlasting covenant. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh." And so the first rainbow arched across the vast blue expanse of the sky, a breathtaking display of vibrant colors against the receding storm clouds. It was a visible and eternal symbol, a bridge of light and hope, spanning the heavens and the earth. It spoke not only of divine justice, but overwhelmingly of divine mercy, a promise of steadfast faithfulness, a beacon of renewed hope for all generations. This solemn pact, etched in the very fabric of creation, marked the end of an era of judgment and the dawn of a new beginning, preparing the ground for the unfolding of redemptive promises yet to come, a testament to the Creator's enduring love for his creation, even in its brokenness. As we close this immersive journey through the foundational acts of Genesis, from the breathtaking burst of creation to the solemn promise of the rainbow, I pray your spirit has been stirred. If this deep dive into the very beginnings of our story resonated with your heart and deepened your understanding of God's holy intention, I invite you to become part of our growing community. Hit that subscribers button right now so you never miss another profound exploration of God's eternal word. And don't forget to ring the Custis notification bell. so you're always among the first to receive new insights designed to nourish your faith. If this narrative ignited your spirit or brought a fresh perspective to these ancient truths, please give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps us share these vital stories with more people seeking divine wisdom. Finally, the story of Genesis is a tapestry woven with divine love, human struggle, and enduring hope. What part of this foundational narrative spoke most powerfully to your soul today? Was it the majesty of the word, the sorrow of Eden, the weight of judgment, or the enduring promise of the covenant? Share your reflections, your questions, or your favorite verse from these opening chapters in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and build a space for meaningful spiritual growth together. Your voice matters here.